It's been 12 Sundays since we've been able to gather in our building. And although the building is closed, the church is not. We've seen our church rally behind our city's needs and scatter into relationships and community in some incredible ways. 4 weeks ago, I laid out the 4 phases of our COVID-19 response plan. This 4-phase approach was built on several core principles that have been informing why we do what we do in this season. Let me quickly remind you of those guiding principles. First, we will prioritize the health and safety of our people. While things are starting to look better, we're not out of the woods yet. Just today, I found out about another young person in our church family that has contracted COVID-19. Second, we want our city to be thankful for the way that we navigate this season. City leaders have repeatedly communicated their thanks for the ways that our church has led and served through this pandemic. Third, we will stay committed to our mission while being creative with our methods. You will continually see that throughout this 4-phase process. Last, we will move as fast as is wise. As evidenced by the recent change in Lackawanna County in the past 2 to 3 weeks, cases can rapidly and suddenly surge, which significantly changes the scenario in which we are ministering. So as we approach phase 2, let me remind you of the words of Paul. Make every effort to keep yourselves united in the Spirit, binding yourselves together with peace. In the face of a divided and polarized culture, we have the opportunity to showcase the unity that Jesus has called us to. See, in our church family, we have 3 different types of people. We have our go people that say, I can't wait to return to large gatherings. We have our yield people that say, I'm hesitant to return to any group until our family knows it's safe. And we have our stop people that are saying, I'm staying home unless it's absolutely necessary to leave. All 3 of these are completely understandable responses, and we all need to have grace for each other, especially those that are doing things differently than us. See, this must be our commitment as a church. We will not complain, pressure, or look down on those who are taking a faster or slower approach than we are. Well, as our county has entered the yellow phase and gatherings of up to 25 people are allowed, here's what we're planning for phase 2 at Restore. For phase 2, we are offering micro gatherings organized by our community groups starting Sunday, July 5th. See, rather than splitting and reshuffling all of our community groups based on everyone's online or in-person preferences, we're offering all of our community groups the option of organizing micro gatherings on Sundays while staying together as a group. See, for those that are healthy, able, and willing, we want to encourage you to gather together with those in your community group to stream the gathering, worship together, and strengthen relationships. This will not take the place of your normal community group time, but will be an additional option to that. See, if you're not connected in a community group, now's the time to get connected or reconnected as we move into this phase. But this approach isn't just about being patient with the virus. This is also about being proactive as a church. Scripture tells us that gathering together is essential, but the size and space of the gathering is not sacred. Rather than launching 3 to 4 larger weekend gatherings to comply with social distance guidelines in our building, we've chosen to take a different approach with micro gatherings. All the work that would go into large Sunday gatherings, especially with a depleted volunteer base, would require dozens of extra hours of preparation and work in order to make a restrictive 1-hour gathering possible. We believe that there's a different way to approach this that would be a better use of our time and produce greater spiritual health in the people of our church. See, this is a season for us to live out that church is not an event you attend, it's a community that you engage in. The early church didn't have buildings in which to hold large gatherings. They had homes. And we believe that we can see the same spiritual fruit in our lives that they saw in theirs by using our homes as well. Moving forward, churches will individually have to make contextualized decisions based on the unique factors of their size, space, demographics, and more. We love and support churches that are doing this differently than we are, just as they love and support us. Here are 3 action steps I'd love to have you take as we enter into this phase. First, I'd love to have every single one of you fill out this survey at restoredchurch.org/survey. This will help us to understand how you're feeling and approaching regathering in this season and beyond. Next, maybe you want to offer to host a micro gathering for your community group. That would be an awesome step if you're able to do that. Third, I'd love to ask you to come directly to me with questions and concerns. We have a variety of perspectives and persuasions in our church, and it's really important that we remember that godly communication is direct communication. I'd love to have any clarifying conversations with any of you if that would be helpful. I'm excited to see what's going to happen as we move into this new phase as a church and how God is going to use these micro gatherings in our lives and in our church.